kennen alle Bright Insight und der hat ein Video hochgeladen. Eins mit einem Thema, wo wir schon viel darüber gesprochen haben, und zwar über die Sphinx und Ägypten. Neue geleakte geheime Fotos von unter der Sphinx und es wurden neue geheime Tunnel gefunden.
No circumstances should anything from our ancient past be kept hidden from the public. However, the never-before-seen photos and video that I'm going to share with you will prove that we, the general public, have not been shown everything that there is to know.
Okay, jetzt bekomme ich doch ein bisschen Conspiracy-Vibes.
See, the Great Sphinx of Giza, Egypt has long been subject of debate, with many theories suggesting that there are perhaps secret tunnels and chambers located within and under this mysterious ancient archaeological site. Between legends of a so-called Hall of Records or the modern scientific data which has identified possible chambers that are under and within the Sphinx,
Krass.
and even this notable off-limits passage located at the back end of the monument, which has long generated intense desire by many to know what's down there.
Scheinbar irgendein Gang oder so,
You
oder?
see, this was discovered and excavated in the 1970s by world-renowned Egyptologists Zahi Hawass and Mark Lehner. In fact, real quick, you have to see this short clip about it.
It began with an old worker who remembered a secret tunnel in the Sphinx's rump. They removed a single stone from just to the left of the Sphinx's tail.
Du musst auch wissen, wonach man sucht, ne?
And sure enough, we saw this passage going down
Aber da muss doch schon jemand drin gewesen sein. Wir müssen ja wissen, was da drin ist. Also als ob, wenn du das findest, gehst du doch rein, oder nicht?
under the Sphinx.
They descended into the shaft.
Of course, we didn't know where it was going to go. And so 3 weeks I spent down in the darkness underneath the Great Sphinx.
Crazy, was da für Tunnel drunter sind.
We search it everywhere, but there is nothing hidden underneath.
So just to clarify, they spent an entire 3 weeks excavating an empty tunnel. So this is the part where things get weird, because you should know that these still images from the clip you just saw are quite literally the only examples of this tunnel that have been ever made available to the public. And notice that they do not show where that tunnel goes, and in fact, we see nothing more than the
Ja, aber was sollte man denn da verstecken wollen? Das frage ich mich halt.
entrance of the tunnel itself.
Weißt du, was ich
But
meine?
not only that, the original 16-page report on the excavation of this tunnel only includes these pictures and illustrations that you're seeing here. This is it, and half of them are from outside of the Sphinx. But so what? I mean, they assured us that there's nothing down there anyways.
Ja, aber also ich frage mich, was wäre die Motivation da, was zu verstecken? Also warum sollte man das geheim halten? Was soll denn da sein, was es wert ist, geheim gehalten zu werden? So, das meine ich.
Right?
We search it everywhere, but there is nothing hidden underneath.
Whoa, wait a second. What was that last part he said?
But there is nothing hidden underneath. Nothing hidden underneath.
Okay, jetzt bin ich gespannt, was jetzt kommt.
Underneath. Underneath.
Nothing hidden underneath. Well, those words are about to become quite interesting, especially the underneath part. Now, I can neither confirm nor deny where these photos or videos I'm about to share with you came from, but I can say with absolute truth that no, this is not me, and no, I did not take any of the photos or videos that you're about to see, nor was I in the country of Egypt when they were taken. However, a few brave and cunning men took great risk to climb down into the back end of the Sphinx
Oh, Alter, das, da würde ich mal ganz schnell aus
at
dem
a
Land
moment
abhauen.
when the overseeing
Wenn ich das
Egyptian
gemacht hätte.
authorities were preoccupied. These gentlemen only had a few seconds before they were ultimately caught. However, the photos and short video clips successfully made it out. So, first things first. Let me play the 2 video clips before I show you the photos, as the video clips will set the stage for what
Jetzt
the
bin ich
pictures are
gespannt.
going to reveal to all of us.
Jetzt bin ich gespannt. Ist es denn genau der Tunnel? Weiß man das mit 100%iger Sicherheit? Weil man hat nicht den Eingang gesehen. Weißt du, was ich meine? Das könnte jetzt auch irgendein Tunnel sein. Das denke ich mir gerade so.
Now, real quick, I removed just a
Und auch bei dem anderen Clip war doch auch ein Kameramann unten in dem Tunnel. Der müsste ja auch wissen, was da
few
ist.
seconds of the clip to conceal this man's identity, but here are the last few seconds.
Please, please.
Oh, es ist, okay, es ist wirklich der Eingang. Okay, I see.
And as you could probably tell, that is when they were caught. Now, here is the second clip, which is of the second gentleman who was already down in the second tier at the same time as the other man was climbing down, as you just saw.
Okay, so that's a dead end. Here we are under the Sphinx, in one of the 4 hidden holes.
Sieht so aus, als wäre da was, oder?
Now, obviously, the video was recorded in great haste and doesn't show us a lot. However, there are a few important details that we just learned. But let me first point out that you cannot see the entrance of this tunnel when looking down from the outside of the Sphinx, as it's below the first tier and too far to the left. Another thing we observed is that we never had witnessed where this tunnel goes or what it even looks like within it. But it is indeed a dead end, so when Zahiwa said,
Ist doch bisher alles gut, oder nicht?
there is nothing underneath,
Also,
he was apparently telling the truth, at least at this particular location. But this is where things get very interesting, because he did not say anything about there being nothing inside of the Sphinx. And the photos you're going to see next are of a previously unknown tunnel that proceed up and inside of the Sphinx itself. And these images
Was?
are the first ever of their kind to be
Hä,
seen by
echt?
the public or even posted to the internet for that matter. In fact, I have waited, and many others have waited years to see what these photos are about to reveal to us. First, notice this frame here, which is from the last few moments of the prior clip. You see that? This is a second tunnel that goes up and in and is facing towards the front of the Sphinx, or to the east.
jetzt bin ich gespannt.
This is something that you cannot see from the outside of the Sphinx either, as it is too high and too far in to be observed,
Wenn man wirklich in die Sphinx rein könnte, wäre natürlich crazy.
even if you were peeking your head in from the outside passage. And thankfully, this cunning gentleman captured 3 photos of this second tunnel. And you can see straight inside of it, which is a passage that proceeds up and towards the front of the Sphinx and has quite literally been boarded up. And I have to say that the first thing I thought of when I saw these photos is the ground radar image here, which identifies 2 possible cavities within the Sphinx, which are in the same direction that this boarded up tunnel proceeds.
Ja, aber was soll denn da drin sein?
Unfortunately, we cannot see much that is beyond the boards,
Ich meine, das können die auch gemacht haben, damit da Leute, wenn die reinklettern, nicht da hochgehen und sich verletzen oder so. Das kann natürlich auch
and I
sein.
cannot
Also,
tell which direction it goes from there.
muss ja nicht sein, dass was ultra geheimes ist. Es ist wahrscheinlich einfach nur eine Steinkammer, I guess.
Perhaps it proceeds into a second tier above or another direction. We just can't tell. But what I do know is that this particular tunnel was not shown or discussed by the world's 2 most renowned Egyptologists, where they specifically stated that there is, quote, nothing underneath, yet they mention nothing in reference to tunnels within the Sphinx itself. Perhaps this would explain why they spent an entire 3 weeks exploring the bowels of the Sphinx, which we can now see includes far more than just an empty, dead-end tunnel. And you know, all of this becomes even more interesting when we consider that there is another vertical shaft at the top of the Sphinx. This is something that I discussed in a video a few years ago, but as you can see here, Zahi Hawass himself shows us a trapdoor on the Sphinx's back which drops straight down. Yet you simply cannot see where it goes from there, but something is now telling me that it likely connects to the hidden tunnel, which we now know leads in the same direction.
Aber warum gibt es denn davon kein Video? Ich meine, also ich frage mich halt echt, wieso filmt man das nicht einfach? Es ist super interessant wahrscheinlich. Was soll denn da sein, was man nicht sehen darf? Das denke ich mir.
And for whatever it's worth, Zahi claimed again that there is nothing down here either, just as he claimed that there is nothing under the Sphinx. But I have to say that I am not at all convinced about that, as ground radar has shown multiple anomalies, as you can see from these examples here, which are located under the Sphinx towards the back end, as well as under the Sphinx's left paw, or right paw as you're facing it. But although these photos and videos I shared with you today leave us with many unanswered questions, I have to say that I am thrilled to have personally witnessed and been able to share these details with you. And if you're wondering why others haven't successfully snuck down into this passage and captured pictures or videos sooner, it's related to the fact that this entire area around the Sphinx is off limits unless you have special access permission, which costs thousands of dollars and is overseen by tour guides and armed guards at all times.
Weiß ich nicht. Also, ich sehe halt noch nicht so das Motiv, warum man da was verschleiern sollte. Weißt du, was ich meine?
Everyone
Das ist
else
so
is only able to
wahrscheinlich, um halt das Gebäude, also die Sphinx zu erhalten, Leute nicht zu gefährden und all so Sachen. Dass halt nicht einfach Randoms rein dürfen. Also wenn da jeder jetzt reinspaziert, dann wird die halt nicht mehr lange halten. Deswegen macht es schon Sinn, das abzusperren. ich sehe halt noch nicht eine Motivation, warum jetzt zum Beispiel die ägyptische Regierung da was verschleiern sollte.
View the Sphinx from the top of its enclosure. But make no mistake, every one of us has an inherent right as people to see and know the details of our lost ancient past. I don't like secrets.
Ja, verstehe ich, was er meint, aber der macht einfach Videos davon. So, das wäre die einfachste Lösung.
And the reality is that all of us have been kept
Ich bin immer der Meinung, dass ein neuer Merch von Marius in der Kamera ist. Können die noch nicht haben, der kommt erst am 3. Dezember, ist geil.
in the dark on the prior excavations into the Great Sphinx. And regardless if you are a proponent of the academic narrative, an alternative ancient history enthusiast, a history professor, an archaeologist, or believer in ancient aliens, the one thing that we all have in common is that we can now see that all of us have not been shown everything that there is to see or be aware of. Even if this tunnel goes absolutely nowhere and nothing was ever found inside of it, we can't necessarily take that in good faith since we haven't been included in all the details along the way. Because let's not forget.
And so 3 weeks I spent down in the dark.
Ich finde, das gibt halt so ein bisschen zu viel Conspiracy-Vibes. Ich glaube, es ist halt wirklich einfach. Ich weiß nicht, ob da was drin ist. Es wäre voll spannend, wenn da irgendwie so Hieroglyphen wären, die man noch nicht kennt, oder ein Sarkophag oder irgendwie sowas. Aber ich glaube, es ist halt wahrscheinlich einfach ein leerer Steinraum.
This underneath the Great Sphinx.
Würde ich das mal behaupten. Wobei man sagen muss, die Pyramiden innen drin sehen auch teilweise crazy aus.
There is nothing hidden underneath.
A whole 3 weeks, which was done in secrecy, with a literal shroud concealing the excavation the entire time. All of us owe a great bit of gratitude to the brave gentleman that took the risk to climb down into the Sphinx so we were able to see what we were today and become aware of the details that we now know. And you know, it's interesting. I've been long making the case that there truly is a mystery to our lost ancient past, something that many people have adamantly denied. But how can anyone say that any longer when it's now apparent that there are quite literally areas they have never knew existed, and of all places, at one of the most famous ancient sites on Earth?
Ich bin auch jemand, der sagt, ey, ich glaube, dass es viele Kapitel in unserer Vergangenheit sind, die wir noch falsch verstehen oder noch gar nicht gefunden haben, oder wir vielleicht sogar schon mal weiter fortgeschritten waren, als wir glauben, dass sie es damals waren. Also zum Beispiel, dass sie jetzt in Ägypten krassere Technologie hatten, als wir glauben, dass sie hatten. Ich glaube schon, dass da Wahrheit drin steckt, aber jetzt das Argument zu bringen, nur weil da jetzt was versteckt wurde, ist nicht automatisch die Theorie wahr. Das finde ich ein bisschen schwierig.
And you know what else? These are not the only secrets that's been kept from the
Strohmann-Argument,
public
was jetzt kommt. So.
involving ancient Egypt. I do have more to share. However, those are worthy of videos of themselves, so stay tuned for that. But all of that said, the powers that be within Egypt should release all photos and videos of what's inside these tunnels. Because if nothing else, even if there's nothing to see, it will still bring positive light and something fun and exciting to look at to the tourism industry within Egypt itself and to the millions and millions of people that follow this fun topic from around the world. That said, I'm Jimmy. My channel is called Bright Insight. Leave a comment.
Interessant, dass da was Neues entdeckt wurde, so nach dem Motto, aber ich sehe jetzt noch nicht diesen Conspiracy-Vibe, ehrlicherweise. Den sehe ich jetzt noch nicht so.